Hello, Internet. So, over the past couple of years, I've had quite a few requests to show my gear that I use when I go diving and hunting around for treasure and fun. And so I'm going to fulfill that today because I've had several more crop up just recently, and I've promised to do that. So here it is. So this is my basic gear in a nutshell. I'm going to go ahead and start back here with the tanks I use. This is actually one of my decompression tanks, which I rarely use as a main tank. I just have it there kind of as a size comparison to the others. Most people are familiar with an aluminum 80 cylinder, which is pretty much standard all around the world. That's 80 cubic feet. This shorter one right here is actually a high pressure steel. It has 3,442 psi rating compared to 3,000 for the aluminum, and that holds 100 cubic feet of breathing gas compared to the actually, well, it's an 80, but this actually only 77 cubic feet there. This one here is another one of my primary tanks that I use, and it is a high pressure steel 80. Now it holds actually more gas. This one holds more gas than this one. It does so by having much more, or a much higher pressure than the other one. These also have an added buoyancy characteristic, which is if I wear this one as a back mount tank, it actually requires more weight to keep me down than these smaller tanks. As a matter of fact, 10 pounds more lead I have to carry with me to hold myself down compared to this one. So that's that. High pressure 80, high pressure 100 are my main back gas. I also almost always, because people have commented about, hey, you dive alone, solo. Well, I'm prepared for self-rescue. And one of the ways I do that is I carry at all times in my car a cylinder of 100% oxygen, which is the primary first thing you want to do if you have any sort of diving emergency, be it decompression sickness or lung overexpansion or anything. Just that you always want to administer oxygen. So I'm prepared for self-help until such time as I can get medical attention by professionals. This is my primary BC that I use. Somebody has mentioned that, hey, it looks kind of on the technical end. And so what technical is non-standard recreational diving. It involves using mixed gases, which is what I use primarily in those tanks, and decompression diving, and basically diving beyond recreational limits of any sort, and or overhead environments like wreck diving or cave diving, that sort of thing, is what technical diving is primarily about. And this is, again, my BC or buoyancy compensator, and what that does is it holds the tank, and it offers you the ability to add air as you go deeper to make yourself neutrally buoyant, which allows you to float and hover weightlessly at a given depth. I'm not going to go into the mechanics of all that, but that's primarily what it does. And this is what's called a back plate and wing. This is the back plate. It's a stainless steel plate that basically supports the tank on your back. And then you can add whatever wing, or in this case, this is a single tank wing that allows you to do the buoyancy, or it keeps you afloat at the surface as well. All right, so what I have been using lately is the Rite brand, which I really, really love. I love everything about them. They offer really good quality gear, and they offer it the availability of parts and service and replacement pieces and parts all over the place. You don't have to special order them. Some of the other brands, which are very, very high quality gear as well, but you may have to order them 6 months ahead of time. This is what it looks like from the back. This is a high pressure steel 100 tank on it. I have the double strap bands, cam straps they call those, and that's what I use to secure it to my back plate and wing. This is how I keep keep myself from getting locked out of my car, I carry a key with me at all times. My primary regulator is an oldie but a goodie. I really like this regulator. I have replaced it a couple of times, but always go back to it because I just love it. It's like a familiar old friend. It's an Oceanic Delta 3, which I've bought, I think, probably 12 or 15 years ago. I'm not sure what. But I've had it for several years and have many dives on it and just love it. It is paired at this point with a dive Rite. I got to lower this pressure here a little bit. With a dive Rite first stage, which this is a second stage, and this is the first stage. And the reason I paired it with this one was because I actually bought a replacement regulator for this one day because it was getting old, and I figured, hey, about time to update and upgrade. Well, yes, but no. I did not like the second stage regulator that this first stage regulator came with, but I absolutely loved the first stage regulator. And what I loved about it, sorry about that, I actually turned it on instead of turning it off. I was going to try to bleed the pressure out of it so I could turn it. There we go. So what I loved about it was it has this rotation portion on the top of it. It rotates around and actually allows movement of the hoses to where they're not binding and restricting the hose placement and stuff on your body. And I really just love that feature. So I incorporated that first stage with the other regulator, second stage. So that's about it. It's normally set up for using a dry suit, which is what this hose right here is. But I have not, when I don't dive dry suit, I just tuck it in the stainless steel buckles to which I mount my bags for goodie collecting and stuff. And I'll show you those in just a minute. So these are actually my shoulder straps. And this one encompasses a waist strap as well as a crotch strap, as they call it, which comes up between your legs. And this is the stainless steel D-ring that I attach my scooter to, that actually drags me along with it by this strap. All right, moving on. I have had in the past computer-linked electronic devices that show you the pressure and time remaining in your tank, as well as your depth and stuff. I prefer the analog depth gauges and pressure gauges for the most part, but I do use a depth gauge here with a computer. I always dive with a computer or some sort of timing device so I know how long I've been down to avoid getting decompression sickness. So on this one here I'm using right now is a dive Rite Nitec Q, and it's good for all types of diving, multiple gases, I think up to 7 different types of breathing gases that you can program in there, as well as what is accidentally set up on right now, which is CC, which is closed circuit. So as a tool, I carry this AquaLung dive knife. I've had 3 renditions of this through the years, and I keep them until they kind of get rusted out, and then I replace them. Love the knife. It fits my hand with any sort of glove on and is easy to wield when I need it. This also can be used as a hammer with this side here, so if I ever need to pound on anything, I'm covered. I carry and use several types of dive lights when I dive. You almost always need some sort of light because underwater can be very dark unless you're in some place like Lake Tahoe or something where it's perpetually light if the sun's up because the water is so clean and clear. And if you're not too deep, you don't need any sort of light. This is a light which I had actually found. I think I showed it in another video that I did. And it's a Light in Motion Solar 1200 dive light. Like I said, I found it. I loved it immediately. The battery lasts as long as another technical light that I have, which actually encompasses a corded battery pack that you strap onto your waist. This does everything that does, and this does everything that does even better. This is a Solar 600 Tech light, and this will last like up to 6 hours at its lowest setting underwater. It's incredible light. Absolutely love the technology here. They fit on the palm of your hand. You don't have to strap them to your waist and run cords all over your body. You just slip them on and they work. This one is depth rated to 300 feet or 90 meters, which I believe this one has the same depth rating on it. These are my backup lights, or what I sometimes just always clip on myself, even if I always carry dive light, so if I'm even in bright lit Tahoe, I always carry at least one of these. These are very bright, very durable dive lights, solid aluminum body. They are rechargeable batteries in them, and they last for several hours. So I always have a light, and those are some of the ones I use. This is my primary camera mount when it's not mounted on my DPV or my scooter. It's actually a homemade one I made. It seems to work very well. I made it one time just because I wanted to use it as a mount in the sand, and it's just a piece of PVC pipe that's and I mounted it with some GoPro hardware. And right now it has a lens cover on it that allows it to kind of mask out the green water. And as a matter of fact, I think I have a few videos up where I'd actually forgotten that, where I was diving in green lakes. But that's essentially it. That's my essential recording device at this time. I actually have two of these. This is a GoPro Hero 5, and I actually have an old GoPro Hero 2. In the past, I've also had a 3 Plus and I think a 4. One I lost and one was stolen. And actually, I think I wasn't really out anything because both of those I'd actually found at one time or another during my dives. So that's it. I attach it to my body with this lanyard here, and I can stretch it out as far as I need to, and it always remains securely attached to my BC on one of these D-rings, like so. So that's that. Primary mask I use is, again, a Rite product. They're reliable, they're good, they're easy to get, and they fit me very well. This is a prescription mask, is what all my primary masks are, because I am blind without them. Always carry a compass, because you always need to know what direction you're going and what direction you came from. And this is my current wrist mount that I have, and I also use one on my DPV. So that's about it. Oh, wait, one more thing. Fins. People have asked specifically what type of fins do I use. Again, Rite product, and this is their fin. And they're an excellent fin for almost any kick you want to do, be it frog kick or standard flutter kick. Any kick you want to do, it will do, and it will do well. This is my second pair of these. I still have my first pair, but they actually split right here after probably 1,000 dives. And I repaired them, but in the meantime, before I repaired them, I actually picked up a second set just in case those failed and couldn't be repaired. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and order another pair here shortly just to have them on hand. These have stainless steel spring straps, which you just basically stick your foot in and then stretch this strap up around it, and it's so much easier than trying to buckle and tighten straps as you go. So that's it, folks. So if anybody has any further questions or specific questions, please just ask in the comments on this video. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know or see, and I will be glad to get it out there for you. All right. Hey, I really appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate all the comments and positive input that people have given and encouragement. I can't thank you enough for all that. Several of you fellow YouTubers out there who are treasure hunters as well, you've been very generous with your praise and with your brotherhood, and for that I thank you as well. You guys have a great day, and I will see you underwater on my next video.